let's do our last little story here and get out of here.
It's cold, Basso. It's cold. Antarctica, go first. Snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice. Scientists are penguins. Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
dailymail.co.uk headline. Inside the underwater laboratory, 32 feet below the surface, below the frozen surface of the Arctic Ocean, where a daredevil French adventurer plans to live for 6 months, following in the footsteps of his hero, Jacques Cousteau. Ooh. Now, the obvious thing to point out first here, 32 feet below the frozen surface of the Arctic Ocean. Why significant? Because so you might say, well, wait a minute, why isn't it 33? You see, this underwater laboratory begins at the 33rd feet level under the frozen surface of the Arctic Ocean. So yeah, see, you don't want to start after the 33, you got to start at 33 feet. Imagine spending 6 months in an underwater laboratory buried 32 feet beneath the surface of the frozen Arctic Ocean. Sound terrifying? Well, that is exactly what French adventurer Alban Michon is planning to do if he can secure 14 million euros, that's about 12.2 million pounds, funding in time for a project's launch in 2025. The 45-year-old hopes that his innovative oceanographic and spatial research base will allow scientists to better understand the impact of global warming on the region. I don't even care if that's really the case. All I know is this guy right here, the French adventurer Alban Michon, knows how to make the money, knows how to get the cash flow, because he needs quite a bit to make this happen. So what do? We're doing it to understand the impact of global warming. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's how you make the money. He also hopes to gain a new perspective on the ocean itself by following in the footsteps of his hero, Jacques-Yves Cousteau, the late oceanographer. In 1965, Cousteau created an underwater base off Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat in France, where oceanographers lived for a month. And then it's got this picture of the ambitious laboratory that will be under the water here. And when you have an overview, like an overhead view of this thing, Cody, are you okay, bud? Hang on, I gotta sneeze. No. Mute buttons are awesome. When you look at the overhead view of it, it is shaped like the Starship Enterprise. It's got like some panels. It looks like solar panels or something on either side of, there's like a motor, and then it sticks out into the main body area where it has the cage. And it's actually like a tube. It's got like a picture of the research base. It's going to measure 78 feet by 7.5 feet in a little tube and feature a panoramic view of the sea at the front of it. Ooh, a panoramic view. Yay. There's a little video showing some of the things here. And what caught my attention with this article is not so much that this guy is doing it. I mean, yeah, it's cool. He's doing it or whatever. And there's a picture of him. He's the adventurer. But it's sort of the takeaway here at the end. I thought I highlighted it, but maybe I didn't. The daredevil adventurer wants to build a second base above ground so that those in the underwater lab have a 24/7 connection to a support team, while also creating a meeting bubble underwater capsule that acts as an intermediary between the two. He said this would then be able to take doctors to the laboratory in case of an emergency. And journalists would also be able to visit the base to interview the scientists. And they gotta be accessible. Okay, so the thing that this is called Biodysseus. Biodysseus, like the Odyssey, the Odysseus, but with bio in front of it. That's the Biodysseus. Not hard to say. And it's just this very epic sounding project here. And wow, what was it? I thought I had something highlighted. Maybe it was in the text version of the article here. me just check real quick. Oh, I can't get the text version. What is going on? Well, anyway, the idea of Odysseus or Odysseus is interesting because, of course, you have the word Odysseus, king of Ithaca at the time of the Trojan War, son of Laertes and Antilochia, from Greek Odysseus, a name of unknown origin. And he's angry, begrieved, grumble in folk etymology. Also, Ulysses, Latin name for Odysseus, from Latin Ulysses, famous for wandering as well as craftiness and ability at deceit. Where's my button? Where's my ding? There it is. Yeah. The ability to deceit. Yeah. So what's this underwater lab for anyway? Oh gosh, I can't find the part. So there was a part in here that talked about how they would kind of be in a state of not hibernation. What was it? Gestation, almost like pregnancy. So hold on, I thought I totally had the proper version of this, but let me be real quick here and see if I can pull it up again. I apologize. Oh, and also, by the way, just real quick, I'm not going to read any reviews, but the reviews coming in, thank you. Keep them coming in. We will have plenty to read as Basil gets back. But right now, we're not going to do it just because I'm short on time here today. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it on the text version. Come on, text version, pull up. No text version. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Meets several objectives, modular, scalable, long-lasting, autonomous. Oh yeah, it's autonomous as possible. Extreme environments, beneficial for space agencies. Always the underwater stuff benefiting space. Right? I always thought that was interesting as well. Where is it? Man, I can't find it. Maybe it's earlier in the article. Let's see. After 6 months, it'll start to melt. Oh, here we go. Found it. Thank you. Sorry for that. He said, and this is the guy again, he said it would allow scientists to experience an environment a bit like a fetus in its mother's tummy. And that is very interesting because a lot of the imagery, the symbolism of, the New World Order types, specifically Lady Gaga, did that whole thing where she's like in an egg and it was like the rebirth of humanity and all that kind of stuff. So I find it very fascinating that they're creating a lab that starts at 33 feet underwater. This guy wants to be in there for 6 months and he gets to examine the ocean floors at the Arctic, and it'll be like a fetus inside of a mother's womb. Interesting. And it creates some kind of data collection thing for space. So are they trying to say space is kind of like inside a mother's womb? And it also really kind of tells you maybe why, the end times is sort of it's given to us, especially in the book of Revelation, in the analogy of birth pangs. This sort of analogy there of it goes back to the fall of man and, the curse on women to have pain in childbirth and stuff. But also Revelation 12, it talks about, the offspring of of Israel, basically. And I'm not going to get into all that theology there, but pregnancy being sort of a theme here of the end times. I just think it's fascinating how the secular world continue to pick up on these little things that were there biblically from the beginning. That's been the theme here today. Is just all these stories, transhumanism, underwater laboratories under the Arctic Ocean, whatever it may be. There's some kind of tie to biblical references, biblical eschatological references. And actually, I want to try to coin a term, a word, as it were. And I don't know that anybody's going to pick it up or make it something that people can state. But the word is, what happened to my word? Oh, there it is. I put it down because I knew I would forget it. eschatomics, pertaining to eschatology or the end of things. Eschatomics. There's economics. Let's start a whole category called eschatomics, or sort of the pertaining to or the workings of eschatology. And because I think that can frame the conversation in a more academic way. We're not just talking about end times, Bible prophecy. People get turned off by phrases like that. But if let's discuss biblical eschatomics, then people might be a little more interested. Like, oh, what's biblical eschatomics? So there you go, something like that.